Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the future of the water and wastewater industry and the careers you did not know about. And I'm your host, Dave Kosminski, and we are here live at the annual technical conference from CTAWWA and CWWA, and we are at the Viking Hotel in Newport, Rhode Island. Ancient Newport. Hey, we have a great guest with us this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A good friend of mine, right from the hometown of Portland, Mr. Don Snyder. Hi, Don. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Dave. Good afternoon, and thank you for inviting me on the podcast here, sir.
Well, you know, the podcast, we're trying to get new, younger blood in the industry, as you know, but we're all getting to that age of retirement. You not so much, but I'm just about there. So anyway,
Very well said.
So tell me about your career getting into the water industry. What's your day job like?
Sure. So getting into the water industry actually started here in the great state of Rhode Island. In 2000, I graduated Portland High School, as you may know.
Yeah.
Came over to Roger Williams University, based here in Bristol, Rhode Island. Got a degree in engineering, civil engineering.
Okay.
Then I worked for a firm that specialized in working for water utilities. Some very fine water utilities in the state of Connecticut, which I was able to leverage some networking, relationships, and good hard quality work.
Yeah.
And in 2010, 2011, we started a firm, Snyder Civil Engineering.
Yes.
And based out of Connecticut, and we've grown and scaled that firm to a couple different office locations and continuing to serve several water utilities.
Right.
So very blessed, very fortunate for that.
Absolutely. I know you guys do some great work and hard work. And you know, Don, when you graduated high school, did you have an aspiration as far as, you know, what direction you wanted to go?
I truly didn't. I knew that engineering was a good profession. I had the ability to have very good, strong math, science, and communication skills, which I think have helped me in my career progressing. But that talent was something that I developed over an amount of time. And, you know, at our firm today, we continue to recruit young talent, people who are looking for internships or people to get their start in the water industry.
Right.
We've even worked with some of our utilities to where we're having programs where we're bringing on some interns and getting them engaged in physically working at some Connecticut water utilities now.
Right. So again, we're trying to market this podcast to, you know, high school seniors and you know, people just entering the college. So what advice would you give, words of wisdom, so to speak, on you know, the opportunities that we have both in the water and wastewater? Because you do some stuff in wastewater also, don't you?
Very little. I would say about 99% of our receivables
Okay.
Account for drinking water.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. But I would give people advice to consider the water industry. As we say, most of our clients really do care about the quality of their work. They care about the quality of the water. At the end of the day, as you know, Dave, they're answering to the Connecticut Department of Public Health typically. Right. They're held to very high standards. They're good stewards of providing safe, reliable, and efficient drinking water.
Sure.
They take that very proud. They do that very well. And they're always looking to expand their talent pool. Really, even at our level, at 40 years of age now in the industry, many individuals have really set us up for success and set our firm up for success. And a lot of utilities and people at these even senior management roles, if you will, at water utilities are really looking to expand their talent pool. So there's a lot of opportunity, Dave. I think that's really the word of the day. And I think that what your podcast does a nice job of highlighting that. There's amazing opportunity, extensive amount of opportunity for individuals who come in, who are open to, you know, using technology.
Sure.
Millennials, you know, they take some hard press for some of the things they do, but they take some very good press for being open to technology,
Sure.
adapting to technology, embracing those skills they have. I know in your town tech program over the years, you've kind of paved the way for some folks to look into technology and how it benefits. We use aerial drones at Snyder Civil.
Yep.
We're using GPS units. We're using some total stations. I believe now, we just left a part of the seminar on the lead and copper
Sure. Yep.
challenges that, never mind the state of Connecticut here, but our country's facing and been
Right.
facing.
Sure.
We all know the unfortunate events out in Flint, Michigan, and the
that's
impacts they've
tragic.
had.
Tragic.
And I think there'll be a lot of opportunities for young folks to really engage, doing some of the inventory work, some of the research, some of the outreach style work.
And the neat thing about it too, as far as in relation to just the careers that are in that industry, it's just such a wide umbrella. You can go from engineering, you can go to customer service, you can go to construction, you can go to customer service, HR, you name it. And the nice part about it is at the entry level, you don't necessarily have to have a college degree. And I think most students that I don't want to say they're brainwashed, but they're kind of indoctrinated into you have to go to college, and college isn't for everybody, as far as that goes. So, that opportunity there, and especially from you guys, I know you've got a couple of my students that are working for you in various capacities in the firm.
Yes, we've been pretty successful recruiting some local talent. And then, speaking about us being a little more worldly, if you will, we've also done very well recruiting some folks who don't have the stereotypical 4 years Bachelor's of Science and Engineering degrees. We've had some folks who have served our country very well.
Yep.
And come out of, the military, armed forces service, and they learned a lot of good structure, discipline, reporting.
Sure.
And they're bringing that value to us locally here in Connecticut now on another field, if you will.
Absolutely.
So.
I think our actually the premier first episode of the podcast, we had Miss Lori Matthew from the State Health Department, as you mentioned earlier, that most water utilities basically are under the primacy agency of the Department of Public Health, and have to answer to their regulations and so forth. And as you know, we had our regulatory update through Betsy Guerra and so forth. The regulations are forever changing, in the industry with lead and copper. A lot of the basically carcinogens that we have to test for now. So I think those are things that people are aware of. But from an environmental side, you can go from like you say, construction. We had. I know you helped us out with. We did a great presentation for our airlane trail utilizing one of your drones. So.
Yeah, a lot of different markets, if you will. As far as engineering in the water industry, speaking to those opportunities, I tell a lot of our interns, our new hires, or even other working professionals in the industry, really, water utilities allow you to embrace the whole gamut. I'm a civil engineer by education and by trade, but that's pretty broad. When we're working for a utility, when we're building a well house, well station structure, it has the big structural engineering component.
Yep.
With a lot of the automation, a lot of the PLC, SCADA systems we have. Companies are good environmental stewards with this energy conservation. We're doing a lot of electrical engineering.
Sure.
We're doing transportation when we're out on the road. We're doing MPT traffic planning, signage, what have you, pavement restoration when we're putting this together in the state right-of-ways. And
Sure.
a lot of our junior staff, let's call it, they've excelled in a lot of these roles, and there really is an application and a fit for them in the industry. It's just I know you're a very skilled musician, and there's different instruments for different applications, right?
Absolutely.
And that's the way we staff and use our tooling, and getting back to where we were before I digress in a minute. When we go back to Connecticut DPH, I know Connecticut DPH has, give the parameters or the regulations, but the utilities we work for take it very seriously, the relationship. They seem to be very appreciative of DPH, and they're really embracing, and they're finding the path forward for carrying out the mission very nicely, and most of it is done very proactively. So
Sure.
again, a lot of opportunity for young folks in the industry to be part of that success that the good water utilities in Connecticut have begun for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of and it's the conference is great. Obviously, we didn't get a chance to meet face to face last year with the COVID and so forth, but it's good to see all of our colleagues here at the conference and getting their educational CEUs and so forth. But just tell us a little bit of some of the water utilities that you do a lot of work for throughout the state.
Sure,
and around.
So we got our start working for a company called United Water Connecticut, which was acquired by Aquarian Water Company. So they're a client of ours, which we're very fortunate to work for. We happen to work for Connecticut Water Company, another great water utility, as well as the Regional Water Authority, and as well as the MDC.
Right.
So some of the four largest, probably most well-known and largest water utilities based on population served in Connecticut, and we've also had the opportunity to work for Southington Water and some others in
Some of
the
the
state.
municipalities, basically the types of utilities throughout the state make up a variety of investor-owns municipalities like we are, as well as what they call the quasi-publics like MDC and Regional Water Authority.
Correct.
Which serve thousands of customers. I think MDC is up to over 400,000 now, right?
Yeah, they have a lot of customers as well. When we look at the state of Connecticut, I believe we're currently somewhere around 3.3 million, 3.4 million people as a population, and when we start adding up the four largest water utilities and the amount of service connections and population served, it's very sizable.
Yes.
Because as we all know, these are in some of the bigger cities in Connecticut that are very densely populated.
Sure.
So
yeah, and you've got the smaller utilities like Portland. Okay, basically we're a municipality. We're basically dealing with only about 2,300 customers. So but the regulations and the water quality we have to put out is the same water quality that MDC puts out, or Regional Water or Aquarion. You've got the regulatory requirements to maintain that water quality.
yeah, very well said. And a lot of that comes down to resources and staffing. And circling back to the opening statement, there's a lot of opportunity here for young folks in the industry to be part of the resource and staffing for these utilities at all scales and all sizes.
Sure.
And they have a lot of different disciplines. I mean, most of this conversation is about water utilities and engineering, but they have real estate needs for
Sure.
people in the real estate industry. They're some of the greatest environmental stewards as far as they own a lot of reservoirs, buildings, dams, what have you. There's real estate elements. They have the whole UOPS operators ends with the Certified Operators Program that runs through the Connecticut Department of Public Health, as we all know. And then following up with it, they even have the whole fleet end.
Yes.
The vehicles, a lot of them do their own maintenance on, machines for people who are mechanically inclined, anything from oil changes to, major repairs and services
Sure.
on some of these equipment.
Yeah, last week we had Tom Tyler on, who's head of the wastewater plant at MDC, and exactly right. I mean, they have their vehicle maintenance program, which maintains all of their, cars, dump trucks, equipment, even equipment that they use within the industry. MDC also has their own police force, so there's a lot of opportunity there, as well as their forestry management program. They manage a lot of acreage up in Barkhamsted around Reservoir 6 and so forth that they manage the water. So you've got arborists that go out and look and manage the forest on tree cutting and maintaining a healthy watershed, and that's again something that you probably would not think of as under that water umbrella. So you're absolutely right.
Yeah, a very good point. I mean, some very good, diverse options, a lot of different markets people can get into in the water utility industry. And I think one of the most exciting ones for, that millennial demographic, if you will, is probably the social media aspect.
Sure.
And how that's being used for outreach today.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, a lot of that correspondence that we've just heard in the session for lead and copper or service line renewals, to put it mildly, that social media may be a good platform for that. I know some companies have the Instagram pages, the Facebook pages, not to get proprietary, but you know, a very efficient way of disseminating that data and information.
Well, it's back in the day when I started, it was okay. You handed out a bill stuffer, you mailed it, and so forth. But the technology is moved far beyond that, and it's it's much more effective to a certain extent because people are into. How many people have a phone on them? And basically, they're checking their email, they're checking their voicemails, they're as well as being able to access the internet most of the time. When I grew up, I had a computer for I think that was half the size of a desk. Now you got more power in your pocket on the phone than you do.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, and I think it's about leveraging that now, embracing that technology, and for the younger folks in the industry to kind of understand their value, their worth, their skill set, and how that applies.
Sure.
Not everyone who comes into a water utility is going to be a supervisor or a manager. Yep. or working their ways up into the role, but with some good decision making and some loyalty to utilities or to engineering firms, that's built over time. We've focused a lot at Snyder Civil about growing our good professional qualified staff and our team, promoting people into that management role and the directors and beyond. So, even in a small organization like ours, we have the support and the infrastructure to support our workload and the needs and requests of our clients.
Sure, and most firms and utilities are very open to advancement for their employees, and many of them have tuition reimbursement programs to help them advance. So if they get in at an entry level, like and so forth, you can move up the ladder. And in a lot of the bigger utilities, and your firm as well, you can not only move up, vertically, but you can move laterally to different departments that end up, focusing on different aspects of the industry.
Yes, and we've had that. We've experienced that a lot during this. These challenging COVID times over the last couple of years. We've had people join us who previously worked at a water utility or previously had been employed at a construction firm and wanted to come over to Snyder Civil. And then we've also had folks, fortunately for them, unfortunately for us, just move on and choose to depart us. Some of our folks have, wanted to work in the construction industry and took jobs with larger contractors and left us. Some other folks have had some talks with some utilities about working the first few years of their career in engineering and then maybe going off to serve a water utility, which there's room for all of us. We're just happy to see that people can be successful in their career. They take the opportunity, they do well, they're successful on it, and as we say, there's room for all of us at the finish line. So we celebrate them wherever their life or their journey takes them.
For sure. And the neat thing about careers within the water industry and wastewater industry, these are careers that you can't really outsource. You can't. You have to have boots on the ground to run these systems, to manage these systems, to maintain these systems. Not only from sampling, construction. Or whatever task, you need those bodies in the room to be able to maintain that infrastructure.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. I mean, a lot of the processes we have, as far as the engineering, the inspection, big field component. I know surveys the same way. Big field component. Sure. You've got to go out there. We've seen projects over the years. Sometimes a firm may get that, and they may not have the ability or the bandwidth or the resources to put people out in the field. And maybe they try to work off a GIS map or some old historical map. And there's always a value to walking the street, walking the community, speaking to others in the community, getting some local knowledge, meeting with utility personnel, operations personnel, who are essentially the clients and the end users of the great infrastructure that people in this field are designing, and and that are being funded and constructed.
There you go. There you go. Hey, Don, thank you so much for coming over. And
You're welcome.
The next session is about to start. And again, with us in the house is our hometown, homegrown Mr. Don Snyder of Snyder Civil Engineering. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the careers you didn't know about in the water industry, and the future of water and wastewater, and the people that run it. And Don is one of the main mans that makes it all work. So, Don, thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you when we get back to town.
Thank you for having me, Dave, and I wish everyone success in the water industry. Please consider it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much.